Hello, here is your chess doctor from Germany again, and today I want to show you a nice trap which I detected accidentally in one of my recent games. Uh, it's a nice trap for white in the Sicilian opening. I started with e4 followed by c5, so we have a Sicilian opening, and I played the closed variation by putting my knight on c3. And after knight to c6 by my black opponent, I played f4, which is known as the so-called Grand Prix attack, followed by d4 by my opponent, and I allowed him to take my pawn for quick development, playing my second knight out. He took the pawn, and after that I played bishop to c4, eyeing already on his weakest square, which is f7, of course. Now he played h6, which is a reasonable move because he saw that otherwise my knight could have come to g5, and that would have been a very unpleasant attack on his weakest square here on f7. And my next move was castling, followed by another quite natural move by the black, namely d6, in order to free his light square bishop. And now I played d4, and the best move for the black would have been to take this pawn, but he decided to pin my knight instead. I took back my pawn by playing bishop to f4, allowing him to take my pawn on d4, which he immediately did by playing knight to d4. And now my knight is under double attack, which at first sight looks quite unpleasant, because after knight takes knight I would have to take back with my pawn, thereby putting my king in a very unsafe position. But in fact this is a trap, because white can here play knight takes knight, sacrificing his whole queen. Because after the bishop takes our queen, we play our bishop to b5, check, and there are only two ways to react for the black. Either he puts his queen in between, or, which is the worst move, he plays king to e7, but then in the next move we have mate, because the king can go nowhere. These light squares are covered by our bishop. This light square is covered by our second knight, and this dark square is covered by our checking knight, so there's no way out for the king. So the only thing that black can do in this position, is putting the queen in between. But after that we simply take this queen. After retaking we get his bishop, and even although he gets our knight, after playing rook to d4, taking his pawn, we are in a clearly better position, because although material is balanced, our pieces are all developed while the black pieces are all sitting on the back rank, and his king is in a very uncomfortable position while our king is quite safe. So the computer rates this plus 2.4 in favor of the white. By the way, this trap is similar to a very well-known trap which emerges in other openings, such as the so-called filial opening, for example. It's called the legal mate, or in Germany it's called the Seekadettenmatt or Seekadate mate, because it is played in a famous opera with the same name. So if you want to see how this trap works in other openings, please search for legal mate or Seekadettenmatt, and you will find many examples for the same trap. But I did never see it before happening in the Sicilian opening, so it might be useful for your games to know that it is even possible here. So thank you for your kind attention, and hopefully you will be able to adapt this trap in one of your games.